Really, if you ask the average person in the United States if they know what fracking is, about 50, and that's a growing number percent, say, yes, I know what it is. And if you ask them, well, what kind of perceptions do they have about it? Well, it's usually, oh yeah, isn't that killing people? And it's just like, oh, no.
Gas and oil from the mountains, can they ever get enough? Pollute the air and kill the water. Chemical war upon this land. We like to build it up, frack the earth, shake the ground, tear it up, tear it down. Don't look back as you're leaving town.
I'm all for energy and for a guy making a buck, but I'm also want to see that it's done right. In the past, like Garfield County, they haven't done it right, and those people are suffering from that right now. I don't want to see people in this county get hurt by it, and so that's why we're here.
Principally, the speech I made had to do with oil and gas rights, property rights associated with oil and gas development. The mineral estate owner and the oil and gas company do have property rights. One important subject that came up in here was the subject of externalities, who should pay for the impact on the environment from oil and gas drilling, and should that be part of the costs that are assessed to the oil and gas industry in one way or the other.
I really wanted to address some of the misperceptions and what the oil and gas industry is doing about that. So through works with hydraulic fracturing disclosure or baseline water sampling, I wanted to illustrate that a lot is misperceived and industry is taking the right steps to correct this.
Feels like the final hour. So what should we do now?
So when they make that assertion, we need this for our economy, my question back to them is, where is your cost-benefit analysis? Where is the data that you bring to the table that proves to you that the economic benefit will outweigh the potential hazards? And they have no answer, so it's speculative. It's a gamble that they're taking.
We're concerned about ourselves and our neighbors and the town in the event of contamination, and I hear a lot through the oil commercials on TV how safe it is, but their actions are completely different than what they're saying. You can set all the regulations you want to, but unless someone's there to enforce them, they're worthless.
Tear it down, don't look back as you're leaving town.
I believe the courts will find that it's the responsibility of the oil and gas companies to minimize the depletion of water, to minimize the pollution of water, to minimize negative air impacts and health impacts on society.
Well, the reason that Betsy Leonard and I are here today is to show other folks around the region that might be interested in how to help to protect themselves from air pollution in the environment around natural gas development. And what we have is what's called the Bucket Brigade, and it's a simple to use, fairly inexpensive method for collecting air samples. If you feel like there's pollution in the air, you smell something nasty, it's pretty significant. In situations where you can't reach a regulator or somebody from the state or the county or the local jurisdiction to come out and collect a sample, what you can do is collect your own sample, send it to a laboratory, have it analyzed, take those results and show them to your the regulators. And what happens basically, if nobody hears any complaints at the county level, they assume that everything is just fine.
If landowners get together and they use the same experts in the same labs and so forth, they can develop their own data. Instead of depending on government to come up with the health studies, to seek out private foundations that may develop the health studies that are needed to determine what the impacts on air quality are, for example, and what is the best way to address the problems.
I do appreciate clean air and clean water, and I know that industry is taking great steps in order to provide that. So, and I also am a consumer of all things that they produce as well, as is everyone here now that I think about it. Fracking doesn't cause contamination. It's other issues, wellbore integrity issues. It's mishandling surface fluids. It's human error. It's not fracking though. So I guess that is the biggest one I'd like to clear up.
What I want you to look at is there's 2 victims up there. How many victims are there just in the state of Colorado? Don't look at them as victims, look at them as your brothers and sisters, or your mother or your father sitting up there. I'm asking you, in 4 or 5 years, are we going to be sitting up there telling the same story? Or are you going to be up there because the whole valley's contaminated?
I don't support oil and gas. I live with it. I have to. That's my home. But it's not the way I would like it. I would like to have a better life for me, my family. Now, if we could move thousands of miles 500 years ago with air, with a little wind, why can't we move on from this dependency of oil and gas to something better for our families? Thank you.
See the world.